Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Casey Mukai, and on behalf of the Young Buddhist editorial, I would like to thank you all for joining YBE's face-to-face EcoDharma. YBE is a platform and community for young Buddhists to foster growth and dialogue across generations of other Buddhists. To give a little more background about this event is the last in our Social Justice Committee's summer series, Face-to-Face. Our previous three sessions covered queerness, abolition, and colonization, and you can find the recordings to these sessions on our YouTube channel. This event, however, will be a little bit different from our last three, which featured esteemed speakers and panelists. Here today, we as organizers are not experts and are hoping to learn and grow along with you today. To begin, we would like to first deeply and wholeheartedly acknowledge that the land that we are currently on is stolen land due to the forced removal of First Nations and Indigenous peoples. It's important that we also acknowledge that Indigenous peoples are not relics of the past, but are living, working, fighting, and thriving today. We must remember that colonialism is an ongoing process, and we must be mindful of our own role in this system that harms communities. As this event discusses environmentalism, we would like to affirm that Indigenous people are the original environmentalists on Turtle Island. If you haven't already, we would like everyone to send in the chat the Indigenous land they are currently on. And if you do not know, you can go to this link to find out. All right, thank you so much. Feel free to continue sharing or continue researching as we move along today, as we do want to be mindful of the land we are on. If you haven't already, feel free to send the land you're on into the chat. We will now continue. We kindly request for all attendees to stay for the whole event to build community, but feel free to use the chat box to answer or ask questions, as well as the reactions on Zoom if something resonates with you. A reminder that the speaker and panel, or that the film portions of our retreat are being recorded, however, breakout rooms will not be. And I will now pass it to Samuel to let us know what our community agreements are.
Hello, my name is Samuel Liang, and I'm also an organizer of this event. We would like to first establish community agreements so that everyone feels safe and brave to be in this space. One mic, right thought and right view, assume positive intent. Right speech, our words have power and can negatively impact others. Right action, what is shared here stays here. What is learned here leaves here. Right mindfulness, create space, take space. If you have any more community agreements you would like to add, feel free to send them to the chat. Now we want to give you a brief agenda of how today's workshop will go. We will first be starting with an opening meditation as well as our jam board to get us in the right headspace. Then we will be doing 2 rounds of watching a clip and discussion in breakout rooms, and then ending our session out with reflection.
Wonderful. Thank you, Samuel. Okay, so now we would like to lead everyone in just a short opening meditation. It will be around 4 or 5 minutes. Feel free to turn off your camera, sit back, find a comfortable position, rest your eyes or close them, anything that feels right to you, and we will bring each other back in 4 minutes. Okay. Okay, now take a few deep breaths and take your time coming back into this space, being present. Okay. So I hope that opening meditation was helpful for just centering ourselves for the rest of our discussion. I will now pass it to Allison to lead us in our opening Jamboard.
Oh, I believe it's Kevin for this section. If Kevin can lead us into the opening Jamboard.
Got it. 1 second. So, hi everyone. My name is Kevin. Pronouns he, him. I am right now in LA, and I've been long interested in the environment. I thought this was a really interesting opportunity to learn more about, how the environment interfaces with all of our lives, as well as to, interact and learn from everybody here. And so, one of the ways that we kind of host discussions during our these online meetings is through this Jamboard. And so this link, we just sent the link out in the chat. And this is kind of like a public whiteboard that we can all come together and, throw out our thoughts. So instead of, chatting into the Zoom chat box and having too many chats stream by really quickly, on the left side of this page, you can see there's a sticky note icon over there. If you click on it, that will pop up a little sticky note and you can type down your thoughts, questions that you have. And this is kind of just a really cool way to kind of see what everybody is thinking about right now. And so we'll be using this Jamboard throughout. Before we start brainstorming together, I just want to quickly note that there are 3 more slides on this. So at the top of the screen, you'll see this kind of slideshow rectangle with a 1 out of 4 in there. And if you click on the right arrow, you can actually, or the left arrow, you can flip between different slides. So you can also use this as a space to record notes that you have from watching the film, see what other people are thinking about the film. Yeah, so with that, we can start answering these questions, or really anything that you might be thinking of. And our opening questions are, what does the earth and environment mean to you? And what are you hoping to take away from this workshop? So with that, I'll give everybody about 3 minutes to kind of brainstorm, put down any thoughts that you have, and then we can get together and quickly do an opening discussion. All right. Thank you everyone for sharing. Feel free to continue adding to this board as we discuss. See a lot of really nice reminders on here. Earth is among my top 9 favorite planets. Yeah, so with that, let's see, I'll just read off some random things I see. Earth is a gift and responsibility. Earth is community of interbeing. It's the interconnection of all living things. Somebody's hoping to take away ideas about how the Buddhist community can act together to prevent the climate crisis. Earth is home, Earth is humans, Earth is magic. Yeah, does anybody see particular thoughts that stand out to them that they like to build upon and discuss? So I'll open the floor to everybody right now.
Well, I'll go since nobody else is saying anything.
Thank you.
I saw a lot of people wrote home, and I really resonate with that. I think it's true both in a physical sense, in a psychological sense, and also in the sense of home as being a place that we protect, that we identify with, and that we almost define ourselves by what is our home, and that applies, I think, to our kind of our familial homes or the place where we grew up. But for all of us, it applies to this planet in the cosmic sense, and I think that's really important.
Thank you, Rylan. That was very beautiful. In the chat, also see Stacy wrote, working together to prevent climate crisis. Very nice.
On the Jamboard, the word that stands out for me is responsibility. Somebody wrote gift and responsibility. That's just before the environmental movement even began. We never thought about, I don't think collectively around the world, we thought about, okay, actually maybe in America, haven't really thought about responsibility. There's a greater consciousness towards that now, more now than in previous generations. So that stands out.
Thank you. That was very beautifully said as well. So yeah, thank you everybody for these opening thoughts. With that, we'll like to move on to the films. Oh, actually, there's one more slide that we need to share. I forgot. Right. So, like as Casey mentioned earlier today, none of us are really, experts on the environment and Buddhism, but we're really interested in this. And so, towards the end of our talk today, we're going to pass out a resource document where we've collected a lot of documents, things from public discussions, public discourse, things from academia, and also even more videos that we found really informative. But today, just to kind of frame the rest of the videos we're going to be watching. There's a very long history of people talking about, at least Buddhists talking about the importance of engagement with the environment. And so as early as 1986 on, I think what was then called World Environment Day, the Dalai Lama had, he had a short address, a short note. And even back then he wrote, today we have access to more information, and it is essential that we re-examine ethically what we have inherited, what we are responsible for, and what we will pass on to coming generations. So again, kind of echoing the idea of responsibility that was just mentioned just now. And even more recently, in the 2015 Paris climate talks, COP21, there's actually a letter that a lot of prominent Buddhist organizations and Buddhist teachers collectively signed and endorsed. And this letter was called "The Time to Act Is Now," a Buddhist declaration on climate change. And one of the quotes in there that I think stood out, they explicitly said, "The Four Noble Truths provide a framework for understanding the threats and disasters that we face ultimately stem from the human mind. Future generations and the other species that share the biosphere with us have no choice to ask for compassion, wisdom, and leadership. We must listen to their silence." So with that, I'd like to pass the baton on now to the film and Allison.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear and see me. Okay. I'm Allison. I am a part of the Social Justice Committee along with everyone else. So thank you for prefacing this entire event before we get into the film. The Way Out is the film that we'll be watching clips of for today. And it will address what can we do now that time is running out. The film will follow two young people, a Brazilian banker and a British activist, during a stressful period of their lives. They manage to try and save the earth. However, first they have to do the work within themselves. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh guides the stories with his revolutionary proposal of facing this climate crisis. He said, "The way out is in," he states. "The way out of climate change is inside each of us." He invites us to stop and take a good look at what is really going on here, and to see what views drive us in our behavior, how our thought patterns and emotions work, and why we got into this trouble with the climate in the first place. He suggests that silence may help us understand ourselves and the earth here. And we wrote some questions down for you to think about while you're watching. And as Kevin said, we have our Jamboard, so you can write down any comments that you have while you're watching, or you can engage in the chat. But here are the questions. Whose responsibility is it to protect the environment? And what does Buddhism teach us about nature? How do other social factors such as race, class, and gender influence what we are seeing in this documentary? How can we live respectfully on the land that we are on? And lastly, what is the relationship between science and faith? And with that, we hope that you enjoy the clips that we have cut out for The Way Out, released in 2018. So yeah, feel free to mute your voice and camera and just enjoy the film.